Hi friends, my name is Carissa. Glad you are watching this week's Word on the Web. This week we're learning about the beginning of Moses' journey. You can find it in Exodus chapter 1 verse 1 to chapter 2 verse 10. Have you ever been to a river? What was it like? Was there mud or cattails? Did you see a lot of plants or dragonflies? Well, many years ago, God's people lived in tents in Egypt. At first, they had moved to Egypt as special guests of the Pharaoh. Their ancestor, Joseph, had saved the whole country of Egypt from famine. But now, 400 years later, the memories of Joseph and the old Pharaoh had faded. The current Pharaoh did not like that there were so many Israelites living in his country. He thought, what if we were attacked by enemies? There are so many Israelites that they might take the side of the enemies and fight against Egypt. So Pharaoh thought of a plan to make the Israelites weak. He told his leaders that Israelites were now going to be slaves in Egypt. They thought they would have to work very hard and never get paid. The Israelites were forced to carry large stones, build huge buildings. They were treated very badly. Even though they were treated so badly, Pharaoh's plan did not work. Still, the population of Israelites increased. More and more children were born. Pharaoh was so angry that he thought up another plan to stop the number of Israelites from increasing. 2 women were midwives who helped the Israelite mothers when they were having babies. Pharaoh called the women before him and said, "Every time when you are helping a mother and she gives birth to a boy, I want you to kill the baby boy right away." But once again, the plan did not work. The midwives tricked Pharaoh and told him that he could never make it there in time to kill the baby boys. Pharaoh was so furious, he now made a new law that was even more terrible. He told everyone in Egypt that if they saw a baby boy among the Israelites, they were to take the baby boy and throw him in the Nile River. Of all the times to have a baby boy, this was the worst. But this is when Jochebed and her husband Amram were going to have their 3rd child. He was a boy. His name would later become Moses. Amram and Jochebed loved Moses. So did his sister and brother, Miriam and Aaron. They did not want anyone to kill him. For 3 months, they hid baby Moses so no one knew that they had a baby boy. But babies cannot be hidden in a house for long. A baby cries and crawls, and soon neighbors would know. So Jochebed had her own plan to protect Moses. She made a basket out of papyrus, and she covered it with thick tar so it would be waterproof and float on the Nile River. Jochebed put the baby in the basket at the edge of the river. Moses' big sister, Miriam, stayed nearby. Maybe no one would find the baby hidden in the reeds, but someone did find Moses. Of all the people who might, it was the Pharaoh's own daughter. Her handmaid brought the baby to her. Little Moses was crying and she felt so sorry for him. She knew the baby was an Israelite, but though her father had commanded everyone in Egypt to throw the Israelite babies in the Nile River, she wanted to keep him. Miriam was watching as all of this happened. Bravely, she approached the princess and said that someone would need to take care of the baby. Miriam asked if the princess would like her to go find an Israelite woman to take care of him. Pharaoh's daughter thought this was a good idea. The princess said she would like to pay a woman to do all the work. When the baby got older, he would come and live in the palace as her son. So, who do you think Miriam brought back? It was his very own mom! God helped Moses' family take care of him and protect him. Moses stayed in their house with them until he was big enough to live in the palace with the princess. When he arrived at the palace, he became the princess's son. She named him Moses and chose a name because she drew him out of the water. Even though Pharaoh had all kinds of plans to hurt God's people, and God knew that someday Moses would be a great leader of his people. Even though there was danger everywhere else, Moses grew up safely in the very palace where the Pharaoh lived. I have some wonderings about this week. I wonder how God's people felt when they were working hard and not being paid. I wonder why the princess chose to save Moses, especially when she knew he was an Israelite. I wonder how hard it was for Moses' mother to send Moses down the river, raise him knowing he would someday have to live with the Pharaoh. On the website, you can find activities and questions to answer at home with your family or friends. Please pray with me. We're going to fold our hands, close our eyes, and bow our heads. God, thank you for this week and the opportunity to get to learn more about your word and about Moses. Continue to be with us as we go through the following weeks, learning how the Israelites made their journey and Moses led them. Thank you. Go knowing that you are loved by God and your church family here at Newark Naz. Have a blessed week.